This is Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello, you're watching Pulse of Africa. I am Samia Mohammed, your host for this hour's news. Stay tuned. Let's start with Lesotho. The government, through the Ministry of Health, will finally introduce the lenacapavir injection in February next year in a bid to combat new HIV/AIDS infection. This was revealed by the Ministry of Health Silebe Mocho-Boron in the National Assembly. Mocho-Boron said lenacapavir will be injected after every 6 months, thus will be injected twice a year and will contribute immensely toward a fight against new HIV infection. He emphasized that the ministry remains steadfast in condom use and abstinence of sex, particularly the young people, as reports indicate that the rate of new HIV/AIDS infections is high among those aged between 14 and 25 years. He therefore called on members of parliament and all leaders to engage with the public in promoting the importance of condom use and abstinence despite the lenacapavir injection. Madagascar's Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development is in discussions with the local company Aerial Metrics, which provides innovative drone-based solutions across several sectors. In a statement, the ministry said the goal of meeting was to develop a partnership to test aerial seeding by drone in order to speed up the restoration of degraded forests, especially in areas that are difficult to access. The next stage of discussion will focus on signing a technical partnership to launch the first trials of drone-assisted reforestation during the upcoming planting season. The country successfully carried out a pilot drone seeding test in 2021 to plant mangroves in the Boeni region. It remains to be seen whether that success can be replicated for large-scale forest restoration. The challenge is significant as deforestation continues to worsen. Reforestation campaigns in Madagascar usually begin in November and last 5 months. Burundi aims to leverage e-commerce to energize economic growth and support entrepreneurship. The country observes rising online activity and seeks to turn this digital momentum into a driver of sustainable development. Authorities adopted practical regulatory guide for e-commerce and a national e-commerce development strategy on November 28. Officials say these documents mark a major step toward structuring, securing, and expanding the country's digital marketplace. They intend to create a clear framework for online transactions and support the growth of SMEs and digital entrepreneurs. The Agency for the Regulation and Control of Telecommunications coordinated the regulatory guide with several partners, including the ICT sector chamber. The guide defines standards, processes, and rules for online commerce. It covers consumer protection, payment, security, logistics, seller and platform obligations, and the legal oversight of digital transactions. Ethiopia's capital market will strengthen the country's integration into the global financial system and boost investor confidence, Finance Minister Ahmed Shidi said. Opening the Capital Market Summit in Addis Ababa on Tuesday, the minister noted that a well-regulated capital market further strengthens Ethiopia's integration into the global financial system. Ahmed also emphasized the significance of infrastructure as a critical priority where a capital market can play a transformative role.
Infrastructure remains another critical priority where capital markets can play a transformative role. Ethiopia's ambitions in logistics, energy, housing, digital infrastructure, transport and agriculture cannot be achieved through public financing alone. The financing gap is large, but our opportunities are even larger. Capital markets allow us to turn infrastructure into an investable asset class through green bonds, municipal bonds, revenue bonds, and infrastructure investment funds, mobilizing both domestic and foreign capital for long-term development.
The minister stressed the need for a strong coordination among institutions, each play a distinctive role in building a transparent, resilient and credible financial ecosystem. During the occasion, National Bank of Ethiopia Governor Eyob Takaling said access to capital is one of the most powerful engines of economic growth and private sector expansion.
The journey toward building a deep, liquid and truly active capital market has only just begun. The achievements we celebrate today reflect the collective vision, commitment, and technical effort of many institutions. But sustaining this momentum and unlocking the full promise of capital markets will require continued dedication from all stakeholders in the months and years ahead. Ensuring depth and liquidity also means expanding the range of financial instruments offered on our market, from government securities to corporate bonds, equities, asset-backed instruments, and new products that respond to the needs of a modern economy.
Hannah Taheliku, Director General of the Ethiopian Capital Market Authority, expressed commitments to build a liquid, transparent and inclusive capital market that would serve as a true engine of Ethiopia's economic transformation.
Looking ahead, our vision for the next phase of growth is clear. We aim to build a deep, liquid, transparent and inclusive capital market that serves as a true engine of Ethiopian economic transformation. This means moving beyond the foundational achievements to expand both the range of financial instruments available and the diversity of market participants. Our growth agenda also places strong emphasis on strengthening market intermediaries and supporting innovation. As more investment banks, brokers, dealers, custodians, and fund managers enter the ecosystem, the competitiveness and efficiency of the market will increase significantly.
Now to business headlines. FG Gold Limited has secured the first drawdown on its $330 million senior debt facility with Africa Finance Corporation and Afrexim Bank to advance the Bomohon Gold Project, Sierra Leone's flagship large-scale commercial gold mine. The milestone completes the financing package required to construct and develop the mine, complementing AFC's initial $100 million investment and Afrexim Bank's $75 million contribution, bringing total African development finance support to $430 million. FG Gold said that the funding will accelerate construction of core infrastructure and pave the way for the first gold production. The project demonstrates Africa's capacity to mobilize sophisticated financing and technical expertise for large-scale mining developments. AFC President Samalia Zubair highlighted the collaboration as a model for unlocking Africa's resources, while Afrexim Bank praised the project's potential for domestic wealth creation and inclusive growth. Trafigura also participated supporting the project's global metals supply integration. African state-owned institutions are now managing a record $1 trillion in assets, according to a monthly report from sovereign fund tracker Global SWF. Assets managed by public pension funds, central banks, and sovereign wealth funds have grown as continents is increasingly turning inward for investment due to cuts in concessional finance and aid. Most of that is managed by pension funds and central banks, but Africa is also witnessing rapid growth in the number of sovereign wealth funds investing state assets. 5 new sovereign wealth funds launched this year alone, according to Global SWF, including BSWF in Botswana, FIS RDC in the Democratic Republic of Congo, ESWF in Eswatini, KSWF in Kenya, and OSWF in Nigeria's Oyo State. Funds in Sub-Saharan Africa, however, manage just 1% of the total $14.3 trillion in assets held globally by sovereign wealth funds, according to Global SWF data. Moving on to sports news. The Namibia U15 boys and girls teams that will represent the countries at the CAF African Schools Football Championship are heading to South Africa. The tournament will be staged in Stellenbosch, South Africa from 5 to 7 December 2025. Namibia will be returning to the regional competitions for the third time this year. During October, the NFA, in collaboration with the Namibia School Sports Union, hosted the National Under-15 Schools Football Championship for both boys and girls, and this is where the provisional squad for both teams were selected. Alexander Itumba will head the boys team, while Roha Wahengo remains as a head of coach for the girls side. Both teams started preparation 2 weeks ago, and the coaches are hopeful in their chances. That's all for this time. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.